We are brought to you today by Showcase Cinemas Deluxe. Right now, Mortal Kombat is in theaters, and we were live from inside the theater for all-day coverage of the film on April 23rd. Make sure to get out and support your local theaters now. See these larger-than-life movies the way they were intended, on the largest screen possible. Showcase offers X+, which is their large premium format theater. Not only do you see and hear the film, but you become a part of it as well. Find out where your local Showcase Cinemas is by heading to their website, www.showcasecinemas.com. Again, that's www.showcasecinemas.com, or by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, be Showcase safe. Showcase has implemented several protocols to ensure that your focus remains on the film, not on the pandemic, including new ventilation systems in each theater to ensure proper airflow, sanitizer on every wall, and so much more. Enjoy the movie the way it was meant to be, with a night out to the theater. We are brought to you today by Kai CBD, a Las Vegas-based health and wellness brand that crafts a full-spectrum CBD hemp-derived product line. Made with 100% love, the brand was created by a 20-year licensed massage therapist for her husband who suffers from chronic pain. Healing is what Kai lives for. Head over to their Facebook or Instagram and mention Pop Culture Corner to receive 10% off your order of all or any of their CBD-derived product line. Guys, their website is in the works. Head over to their Facebook or Instagram. The links are in the description below. Mention Pop Culture Corner and get 10% off. This ad is an easy one for me. Easy, as I use the products myself. They are wonderful. So head over, mention Pop Culture Corner, and get 10% off your order of all orders forever. We are brought to you today by Bonk's Bar in Philadelphia. Bonk specializes in seafood and good times. If you're in the Philly area, make sure to stop by, and on Tuesdays, our resident producer Jack hosts trivia at the bar. Mention Pop Culture Corner to Jack and receive your first drink on the house. For more information about the menu or specials, visit the website for Bonks or their social media pages. All of the links are in the description below. This was an easy one, guys. Head out, support your local service industry. Go to Bonks, grab some seafood, some beer and wine, play some trivia, and have a good time. All right. What's going on, Paul?
What's happening? How's it going?
Just doing the thing. All right, guys. So we're here today. We're waiting for Austin. He had a little technical difficulty, but that's okay. We'll wait for him. I was trying to hold it off as long as I could, but
yeah,
can't wait any longer, man. Before we get into anything, as always, make sure that you like this video. Subscribe to both Pop Culture Corner and Into the West Comics. All the descriptions are in the thing below. So get over. You guys are running some push to 200, right?
Yeah, we're trying to get to 200 subscribers, and we're trying to do a little raffle to take somebody to the movies with us when we get to 200 subscribers. So,
which movie will that be?
If we get to it before Black Widow comes out, which we hope.
You're only 20 away. I mean, I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah, but first we'll do a little raffle, and somebody will come with us to Black Widow and listen to me be a curmudgeon the whole time. I'm excited about that movie.
Yeah, I know, right? That's awesome, though. Now, you guys have your shows on Thursday nights. At what time is that again?
6 p.m. We start at
6
6 p.m. Yep.
6 p.m. Pacific time, guys. So definitely get out there, support Into the West Comics. They're great guys, and I like watching. And yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. So also become a Patreon of our show. It's only $5. And speaking of that, we got some great people, man. We just hit the 11. This is the old one though. So now, yeah, no. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it's all of them. Just kidding. Adam, Billy, Caden, Carlos, Joe, Susanna, Sean, Ruben, K.S. Rivera, Nick DePalma, Odd, and Josh Robertson. You guys are amazing, man. And you guys pay us and you help us keep the production value nice and high. So we, hopefully all of you guys as well, read. So what did we read this week, Paul?
So this week, we decided that we were going to dive in on a relatively new comic. It's from DC's Future State, which kicked off after the end of Death Metals, and it kind of reset the universe again.
Right.
And it was after Death Metals and Doomsday Clock, and it kind of just said, "All right, everything counts. Everything's going on." And we're going to start fresh. We're going to jump into the future, like the near future of a lot of these stories, and give you different versions of all of your favorite characters and some of the same versions of your new characters. What's up, Adam? And we decided to go with the next Batman, which was written by John Ridley, who you might know from films. Most notably, he is the screenwriter for 12 Years a Slave.
Yes.
And this comic has been a lot of fun. It's one of the quite a few of them did, because it was has been a really good endeavor for DC. They've sold very well and been critically acclaimed so far, all the Future State stuff. But this one actually has a follow-up series, which is a little bit of a prequel to this one going on right now, called Batman Second Son, also from John Ridley, and that's also been very good so far.
Right. And so tell us a little bit about the Future State. So specifically Gotham City, and where we find ourselves in these issues before we get into like the story and what actually develops and happens. Tell us a little bit about, because I got a very, well, I mean, we know that the Watchmen universe now exists in some multiverse fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely got like a little bit of a Watchmen vibe to these books.
Yeah, I agree. It's very Watchmen-esque. It's like kind of like Who Watches the Watcher kind of thing. You have these like super police officers who are kind of like just doing whatever they want,
right?
And they don't have anyone really checking them. And it's from it comes from, there was in the sequel comic so far. It's a good way to set this one up. There's a new police commissioner who there's laws around whether there can be people with masks on or not, and like vigilantes and heroes and such. And these police officers called peacekeepers are there to basically snuff out all of these masks one way or another. Typically, they try to put them down. And the way Gotham gets to where it is, it's like being patrolled. It has sectors. There's Peacekeeper 1, Peacekeeper 2, 3, 4, and they all run pretty with the Iron Fist and control that area with pretty much like immunity and however they want.
Right.
And then you get Bruce Wayne, who in passing in the beginning of this, you hear that he has died along with Batman separately. And his fortune has gone to the Fox family, Lucius Fox, Morgan Freeman in the Dark Knight trilogies. I feel like this is a good way to get people to know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
He has two sons. One of them is the new Batman, and we see a little bit of one of his first adventures as Batman and going through what it takes to be Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really great.
Yeah, man. And so when you say that, so I heard you say this, is that the mask law pertains to like vigilantes, but that also doesn't stop them from doing harm, like shooting on spot like criminals. like I've seen the police seem to be able to just, anyone who wears a mask. It doesn't matter if you're just
Yeah.
a random Joe Schmo that's like, walking down the street. They'll just get out and shoot on sight.
Yep. If you
Like,
have a
or
mask,
they have the ability, and it's all legal. And that's where it looks like Batman is like public enemy number one. Yet the police, it's like going after Batman is a fool's errand.
yeah.
There was an engagement, and there was an engagement that I was watching or reading, and the police were like, "Should we go after Batman?" And they're like, "No," and it just seems like they could if they wanted to, but it seemed like they didn't want to
Mhm.
take the time and actually do it. They just wanted to get the promotion for grabbing the dude and kind of move on with their lives. So I found this to be a really interesting dynamic, especially with the mother. The mother, I mean, so I don't know if she's introduced because I read the one where Luke is the Batman. So, yeah, I kind of read the wrong one. So, but anyway, but I did read the one of the ones that we were supposed to read as well. But Luke and Tim's mother she's in favor of this mask law.
hmm
So it created an interesting dynamic. I knew that.
Especially because she doesn't know that her sons are
Exactly.
people that she's targeting, and
Right.
she's like, "No, this is the right thing to do," and her sons are kind of like, "Okay, mom."
Right. And then we have the ACLU, what does that stand for again? Do you remember?
No.
I know it was something. It was ACLU, and they're basically like they're just not in favor of this. They're not in favor of
Yeah.
what's going on. But I really want to know. What I want to know is how did the city get this way? Because as we always see, Gotham is always, if it doesn't have its protector, even when it does have its protector, it's not a great place to live. And I'm not sure how they still have residents of Gotham.
Yeah.
After all these years of just like absolute heinous criminals running around, I'm pretty sure. How do you get real estate there? Like, how do you yeah, I think I want to go live in Gotham. It just befuddles me, but
it's probably cheap.
Yeah, very cheap. It's like Dorchester in Boston.
Yeah.
But all right, so we're introduced to. I mean, maybe let's walk through the opening of the book. Do you have the book with you?
Yes.
For reference?
Yes. I mean, it's probably a good idea because, like I said, it's been about a week since I've read it. So we start with there's a thug in an alley, and we see Batman, pull up on him and put a stop to him, and then the police show up and start shooting at him, and that's the first introduction we kind of get to the cops and their shoot on sight for anybody who's a mask. And like you were saying, there's some cops who are like, we could take out the Batman, and other cops who were like, it's not really worth the effort. And then you have the Banitos, I think they're called.
I was gonna say, so the Bane gang kind of reminded me of the Tom King Batman, where Bane takes over Gotham. So but Bane is like, Bane wears a mask, so like I feel like that's, and this reminded me of, for anyone who watched the new Watchmen series on HBO, where the Rorschach gang kind of like they're all in unison wearing the Rorschach mask. That's what this is in theory, is the Bane version of that, where they all wear the Bane mask and they recruit young vulnerable kids. And there's that one scene. But yeah, I'm sorry, I just like went off there. But there's the one scene where Batman like takes them to child services instead of like turning them in. So like we still get scenes like that, and those are the ones that like I love the most. So, but yeah. So what are they called? I called them the Bane Gang.
Yeah, that's the Banitos. I think they're called, like Banetos.
The Banitos. All right.
But yeah, the Banitos, and they're an example of one of the group of people that the police are just like, it's a mask, I don't care, we're gonna shoot on sight.
Exactly. Yeah. And Madeline brings up a good point here. It seems fine during the day, and we do get a shot of that as well, I believe. So I think he tells us that about, he's talking to us how beautiful it is during the day, but when the sun goes down, it's a horror show. You know? So
yeah. One of my favorite parts of the comic is there's a police officer who kind of has to tell Peacekeeper 1, who's like the head of everything. He's the cop in this new magistrate, is what it's called, that's running Gotham. And the cop is like, I didn't get Batman, this, that, and the other thing. And he's like, he's upset that he didn't. And you see kind of where this Peacekeeper 1 is at. He's like, public enemy number 1 is Batman.
Yes.
And he's supposed to be dead already because I killed him.
Yes.
Forgive me if I bounce, like if I mix up between like the second run, the Second Son, which is 2 issues in, and this one, because they're similar. They're similar stuff happens.
No, me too though. Me too, because I clearly did that.
Yeah.
I read them. So that's the thing is, this it poses a lot of questions. It poses a lot of questions, and that's why it posed a lot of questions to me, because I had questions like, what actually happened to Bruce Wayne? What happened to the OG Batman? How did the city get this way? And why is it? How did this magistrate come about? Because that, first off, Gotham having it was different to me, but it was also very intriguing and interesting. It gave me a little bit of a like Harry Potter vibe when they kept calling it the magistrate and stuff like that. So
they're starting to. There's Robin Eternal, which was in the future state, which was in Gotham. There's Dark Detective, which you kind of see what happens. You don't kind of see. You see what happens to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
The Peacekeeper 1 shoots him. He gets away, but the Peacekeeper is like, he's like, nah, he's dead. He's dead. I'm gonna kill him. I killed him. We're gonna announce him as dead. And then you see, and that's in Dark Detective. Actually, I haven't finished Dark Detective. I think it's 4 as well, 3 or 4, but that's kind of how that one starts off. You see that Bruce Wayne is killed. And then you have Future State Gotham, which is brand new, which just started, which is from Josh Williamson, who's also doing the new Robin comic, which is really good. Future State Gotham kind of follows Jason Todd.
Okay.
And then the next Batman Second Son, where Luke Fox is that's Tim Fox as Batman.
That's what I was just about to ask you. So this one is Tim, and this one is, these are different, right?
That
these
one
are the same.
That one looks more like this is an image work. Yeah, that's definitely Luke. Okay. That's Luke.
Because that's what confused me, was which one is which.
So you don't really see it in the one that we but this is what Luke's bat suit looks like right here.
Oh, that looks more Batman Beyond-y.
Yeah, it's very Batman Beyond-y. It's also because Luke Fox is.
I like Luke's suit actually a lot more.
I like it. I think it's much cooler. But and that's Tim.
That one. So this is Tim. Okay.
Tim's is much more militaristic.
And you could see that in the pants here. Yeah. Where that's okay. All right. See, that was my problem is when you guys just said, all right, let's just read Future State. I was just like, wait, okay, what?
Yeah,
There's
which
a bunch
one?
of these things here.
Yeah.
But the Future State is so I know we see Cassandra Cain as I didn't know that. So someone left in our comments yesterday when I was talking about something was, oh, the new Batgirl movie that's coming out, they're probably going to do Cassandra Cain. But I had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you mentioning Cassandra Cain?
Cassandra Cain is Lady, I'm pretty sure it's Lady Shiva and David Kane's daughter, who are like two of the most. Lady Shiva is like generally considered the best, if not the best martial artist in the DC universe, and David Kane's not quite on her level, but it's close. And
Okay.
Lady Shiva, or is it, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's either Lady Shiva or David Kane has an ability to like learn somebody's movements and tell what move they're gonna do next, kind of.
Ooh.
And that Cassandra has that as well.
Okay.
I think Cassandra's a better Batwoman or Batgirl than Barbara Gordon.
Barbara
I think she's
Gordon,
more
yeah.
fun.
Okay.
I
I
think
just didn't
Barbara's.
like her in Birds of Prey, like how they portrayed her.
I barely even. I watched that movie once.
Yeah,
I thought it was
the
fine.
little Asian girl, like she didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
As Cassandra Cain, and I don't think she did it for a lot of people, because I mean that was one of the parts where people were like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
why? But so if you had to, well, go ahead.
Sorry. In this Batman Second Son comic, which is kind of a little bit of a prequel, where Luke Fox is operating as Batman. Which Luke Fox, the reason his suit looks like that, he was Batwing.
I was gonna say, so in the main timeline, or the whatever it is, the main thing, he's Batwing, and then, but why him of all people? That was one of the questions I had, is why him of all people, like, to take over the mantle as Batman. But I mean, that was me asking questions during.
Yeah. And as Future State and the things that have spun out of it start to evolve, we're starting to see what's going on. So in the Second Son, you kind of start to see the seeds of the magistrate, this new commissioner, which I can't remember her name for the life of me. She gets appointed after Gordon retires, and they're trying to get Gordon to enforce the mask laws, and he was like, "No, I'm not going to do that. Sorry."
Right.
And this new commissioner and she's actually in the next Batman, the first one. She's like pretty, like, she's well on board with it, but in the beginning of Second Son, she's kind of like, I'm just doing it because I kind of feel like I should.
Right.
And you start to see the seeds being planted of this magistrate that's going to come in the future. And then like to kind of touch on your question about why isn't Dick Grayson Batman, or this is that and the other thing. Dick Grayson in the new Nightwing comic, which is fantastic, which is something I'd like to talk about on here with you guys, because it's 3 issues in and it's so much fun and the art is beautiful. But Alfred has passed away. I think he died in the Joker War, which I actually didn't read because I wasn't too interested in it.
And that's a really popular one.
Yeah, a lot of people love the Joker War. I have not read it, but I from reading other things, I have, like, in comics, they'll put an asterisk and like, see, this happened here, when they reference something. And so turns out, which I mean isn't that much of a surprise, Alfred Pennyworth was kind of a multimillionaire. And when he died, he left all of his money to Dick Grayson.
Right.
And Dick Grayson's in Bloodhaven doing his thing in Bloodhaven. And they are he's doing his thing there, and so that's kind of the implication of that's why he's not the next Batman.
Okay.
And Tim Drake's kind of young, Damian Wayne's a child, so and that it ends up kind of falling on Tim. But also, this Second Son is 2 issues in, and just at the end of the second issue, you kind of see like Luke's failings as Batman, and you're starting, because Tim isn't Batman yet in the Second Son. I think by the end of that, we'll see how he becomes Batman and why he becomes Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, those are like just little simple questions I have for myself, because if they exist in this area, if all these characters, and this is 2025, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that far in the future, right? It is a future state, and but it's not like it's 2050. So these people still are around, and that's why I was like, wait, so if they're around and they exist in this future state, how did they become Batman of all people? So but that's a good answer. That's good to have answered, because I just kept asking myself that, why?
Yeah, like, why is Tim Fox? Why is Luke Fox? Why is, and it's got to do with like them getting the money from Wayne and stuff.
Wayne, yep.
And also, I think what DC did with the comics in Future State was actually kind of genius. The everything takes place in not the far flung future, but in the future. Um, like the Superman Worlds of War, the next Batman, everything takes place in the future. Not so far that it's unreachable, but not like right now. And now what they're doing, and now that they've gone back to their regular runs, they're starting to fill in the blanks as far as like how did we get to here, like the Superman run from Philip Kennedy Johnson, who
Yep.
also did the Future State Superman stuff. Uh, he is slowly but surely filling in the blanks, and because in that Superman is on War World, which is run by Mongol, and now in the Action Comics run, we're seeing War World come to Earth, and
No.
so you're starting to see like how Superman may have ended up there. So point being, I think DC has made these comics, these Future State comics, a lot of fun to read, and also as a result of that, filling in the blanks for them, a lot of fun to read also.
Okay, so do you think this future state thing is going to stay?
I think,
or is this going to be because Movie Dogs asked, is future state a limited thing or is it the new status quo? And I'd be interested to know that too, because if you're saying it's a lot of fun to read, you know,
yeah,
it kind of it doesn't parallel our Earth, right? Like our real world. Like we don't live in police state.
No,
As much as
not yet.
anyone wants to cry that we do not live in a police state.
No.
You want a police state or a similar, go to China, and then
Yeah.
talk to me about how bad you have it in the United
Mhm.
States. So, but this is a cool little thing to like. I like these stories where there is some sort of authoritarian, like
Yeah.
like the person we all hate, right? And like
Yeah.
our Batman is, or our heroes are basically just dropped into this world where there's almost like a dictatorship and
Mhm.
what they would do. And yeah, I like that. I didn't even know that there was a Superman one.
No, yeah, there's a ton. I've read about half of them. There's a Wonder Woman one. There's a Wonder Girl one. Yara Flor, she's the new Wonder Woman. She's a Brazilian. That one's really good. The art's really good. There's Green Lantern. Pretty much any character you throw at me, there's a Future State. And those runs were limited and they're over. But now that that's happened, they're starting to continue some of them. Like Future State Second Son has been continued from it. Future State Gotham, the Jason Todd story, has been continued from it. So they're continuing stories in this future state uh, relative to these stories and filling in the blanks for them. So I think it would be, and they've introduced new Green Lanterns and new like Jonathan Kent's the Superman in a few of the Superman ones.
Ooh.
It's a lot of fun to read. And I'll plug. I think if you guys want to read one, I'd say read the Superman Worlds of War one. It's 2 issues. There's like back issues with like Midnighter and stuff. I didn't really read those because I wasn't too interested. I got like a quarter of the way through them and I was like, these are unrelated to the main story.
Right.
And but those comics are a lot of fun to read, and it gives you a really good idea as to who Superman is, what it's like in the future, and then Son of Metropolis, which is also a Superman one, but it's Jonathan Kent. He traps Metropolis in a glass bottle, like they did Candor, to save it. But there's a lot of repercussions from that, and that one's a lot of fun to read as well. So yeah, I would recommend. There's a few that weren't so great, which was like one of the only ones I know that wasn't reviewed so hotly was actually Brian Michael Bendis's Legion of Superheroes. Apparently that was pretty bad, which is one of the reasons I haven't started reading it yet. But his new Justice League run, which is actually featuring a lot of the new characters from Future State, has actually been pretty good so far.
Awesome.
But my favorite Future State story was the Superman Worlds of War. I love that. I thought it was really good. It was like the art was really good. It really made you feel like who like what Superman is as a person. and also how people feel about him back on Earth now that he's gone. And there's like a conversation between two kids. One of them's like, he's nothing without his powers, and the other one was like, read this article from, because they know he's Clark Kent at this point in time, and he's like, read this article from Clark Kent on the thing, and you'll see that he was more than just his powers. And while this is happening, it's juxtaposed with Superman trapped on War World fighting without his powers and refusing to kill any of the monsters they're throwing at him and stuff. And it's
Wow.
really, really good. Yeah.
Wow.
And I loved the next Batman. I thought that was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much John Ridley's done in the comic sphere before this. He may have a whole back catalog that I don't know about, but for an introduction to him in this kind of, because I never would have thought, like, if you would have told me the guy who wrote 12 Years a Slave was going to write a Batman comic, I'd be like, it's probably good because he's a fantastic writer, but also weird.
The art was a little subpar, I feel like.
I think the art in Second Son is a lot better.
Yeah.
I think
for like a tentpole like run, I felt like it was a little bit off. It could have been better. Like I would have grabbed a better artist, maybe. That's not to say it's not good. That was just me personally. I've seen a lot better is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's the thing about comic art. It's like you read something and you love the art, and then you read something else and it's like, this is good art. This guy can clearly draw. I just don't love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's up, Apis? Been sent in. Make sure to subscribe, man. I have never seen you around. We'd love having you here. But yeah, so listen, what would you, if you had to rate the issues that we had to read out of 10, what would you give them?
I'd give them. It's weird because it's not like a full like story. There's no like big bad guy, and it doesn't like have like a big like.
Well, I would argue that the bad guy would be the magistrate, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's no like what's it called?
There's no Bane. There's no Joker.
There's no big climax. There's no big climax where they fight the bad guy. There's like Tim's got to get these kids who have information on stuff to the police precinct. He goes through this like car chase and he gets them there. He loses one of them, but he gets the one who is like a little more innocent there, and they are able to get information there, and that's the climax of it. So I'd give it like a 8. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed reading it. They were short. I really enjoyed Tim Fox as a Batman, and I think the only place it's losing points for me is I agree with you. I don't think the art was crazy. And then it could have been a little more well developed, but I enjoyed what I read. And especially with the second one coming out, I got a little like my hindsight's a little 20/20 on it. I'm like, okay, we're filling in the blanks here.
Right. So I mean, I'm gonna have to read the everything before I give it any scores. But
what do you give the first issue, the first one you read?
Probably similar to yours. I was gonna probably say 7.8.
Yeah.
The art really messed with my head.
Yeah.
In the sense where I was like, but the story was good. And the story was really good. So, I was happy with it. And honestly, I am intrigued enough where I'm actually looking forward to it, to going further. And I think that's a good thing. I do. I think that's a good thing.
I think. Have you ever read the Kingdom Come comic?
Oh yeah, I have it right there.
So, and that
I don't collect a lot of comic books, but I have that one.
That's definitely the one to have.
I'm more of a novel person, so like I have a lot of books, like
yeah.
Rings.
I can't read without pictures. No, I'm just kidding. I love Lord of the Rings. I said I can't read without pictures, but then I said no, I love the Lord of the Rings books. Yeah,
this one's a good one.
Look, I'm not gonna pull it out because it's at the bottom, but twins. But
and this was one of the first ones that so this is an interesting thing because I think I found this one somewhere and it's like falling apart, but it's dead again. And I actually enjoyed this.
Oh, Dead Man. Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy a good Dead Man.
And Dead Man's really funny in Kingdom Come, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah. And he's from Boston.
He is. His
Yeah,
name is
so
Boston.
yeah, so
Um,
wait, was he from Boston or is his name Boston?
I think his name is Boston. I don't know if
'Cause
he's from.
I seem to remember that something about Boston.
His
So
name is
his name is Boston. Yeah, something like
he
that.
might be from Boston too, but his name is Boston something. Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
But the reason I brought up
You ever read
Kingdom
the
Come,
Superman American Alien?
no, that's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's one of the few Superman comics I actually haven't read.
Yeah.
Uh,
It is good.
I have it. I have a big old list of stuff that I need to. Boston Brand is his name. Um, but yeah, I don't know if he's from Boston.
I can't remember either. I just remember the Boston was in there somewhere, and I
Yeah.
remember that.
Um,
And then Daredevil. I don't have many.
no, I mean those are good ones to have.
Smaller ones too, but I enjoy. I have the DC Universe app, and
Hmm.
I mean I have another, and I have Marvel Unlimited, and I'm not as big into like the physical side of the comic books
Yeah.
as some people are. Never was. I like props and memorabilia stuff, but
I love the physical stuff. I like for whatever reason my ADHD won't allow me to read something on my phone.
oh really? Because yeah,
It like
then you'll be on Twitter all of a sudden.
yeah, exactly. I'll be
Yeah.
like, let me just but the reason I brought up Kingdom Come is because it's probably the best future story probably in any comic ever, except for maybe The Dark Knight Returns, which I
Right.
mean,
They're
if you're
up
gonna
there together with the best.
and in that story, Batman, he's got a broken back and such, but the way he's still patrolling Gotham is he has not obviously not as seedy and villainous, but he has these robots set up around Gotham that are patrolling Gotham for him, kind of in the way that the Magistrate is patrolling Gotham in next Batman.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. The very very eerie comparison, but in a different way. Yeah. Not seedy and not villainous, but so yeah, man. So what you think would be next week? What do you think we should do for next week? Not ending now, but don't worry. But what do you think we should do for next week?
Did you want to do? So I mean, we've kind of had a
let us know in
running.
the comments what you would
Yeah.
want to do as well, and we'll take that into consideration. But what would yours be?
My pick. Oh man. Do you want to do like single issues or shorter runs or
For
like?
now,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
while we build an audience for it, I think we should do single issues. That way they
Yeah.
can keep up, and then we'll start doing, like full sets.
I think if we're gonna do a single issue and one that's kind of new or not, let's do we could talk about the 3 issues of Nightwing that are out that are very, very new. The third one just came out. It's 78, 79, and 80 by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo.
Let me read that. Let me write that down.
Those 3 are we just got like really introduced to the villain at the end of this third one, but it's so good. It's like I've never really read Nightwing before, because I'm just like I'll read when he's in the Batman stuff, but I love this comic.
You said
it's so good.
78?
78, 79, and 80.
Okay, and what title is that?
It's just Nightwing.
It's literally just Nightwing 78.
Nightwing number 78.
Issue 78.
Yeah, it's
okay.
I should have them right here. Ugh.
Listen, I love Nightwing, man. I'm a big Nightwing fan.
Yeah, this comic is a lot of fun. Where is it?
Let me make sure it's on this app here.
There we go. So, if you guys want to get an idea what they look like, where am I at? This is number 80. This one came out this week. This is 79. It came out, I think it's a monthly. This cover is super cool.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
And then this was 78.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I love that. That cover is dope too, man.
Yeah, all the covers are super duper cool, and the colors are crazy. This has been probably my favorite comic running right now, and it's Tom Taylor, who wrote Deceased. He did the Suicide Squad run that was pretty acclaimed. The new Wolverine with X-23, he wrote that. which is I haven't read, but apparently is pretty well regarded.
Okay.
But it's really, really good.
Awesome.
And I think short 3 issues get you the introduction to Nightwing and the new bad guy he's going to be facing. I think those would be fun to read and talk about.
All right, so it looks like I'll have to make a trip down to the store. There's actually one like literally right around the corner from my house, so that's awesome. They don't. That's the thing about the DC Universe app. They don't always have the new stuff.
It's not on the. Oh, okay. It's not on the new stuff. That's tough.
No, listen. I should be buying them anyway, though. Yeah,
that's true. Support your local comic book store.
Yeah. Support your local comic book store. All right, guys. Yeah, get Nightwing 78, issue 78, 79, 80. For next Friday, we're going to be doing a deep dive into them. I'm looking forward to that. I'll read the right ones this time. It'll be a great deal.
Tom Taylor. Make sure it's written by Tom Taylor.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm sure there's other Nightwing 78, 79, and 80s.
That's true. Before we have about 18 minutes left. It looks like Austin's a no-show today, guys. He's gonna have issues with the internet. That's okay. Me and Paul say this is where I'm gonna hook you. So what's up, man? The AT&T merger. Not okay. I keep calling it a merger, but it's not. It's not.
The Discovery Plus and
the
AT&T.
Discovery Plus acquisition.
I mean, what? I'm curious as to what you think about it, because I didn't really think much of it, and then our buddy Donovan on our show last night lost his marbles, and I was like, he's kind of right. It's like one of those things where I'm like, why did they buy Discovery Plus? Like, is there some kind of
they didn't buy Discovery Plus.
AT&T?
Yeah, Discovery bought.
Oh, they bought AT&T?
Yeah, they're paying $43 billion. AT&T didn't go out and do this.
Oh, see, that's what I understood it to be. Okay.
So this is the problem. This is the issue that we're having here is that
that's fine.
That everyone. Well, okay, so that's the thing though. So, all right, so Discovery is basically paying $43 billion in, and they are absorbing debt. Their AT&T will get cash. AT&T's not going anywhere.
Oh, okay. So Discovery Plus is paying AT&T to join them.
They're going to become a media conglomerate, and basically, Discovery on its own, not as popular as it could be. But they're looking at it like, okay, well, HBO Max, and this is the thing is that HBO is trying to tell us that they were successful. They were basically saying like, we're doing great, but they were lying. They were lying. They were hemorrhaging money. They weren't producing content that it was like movies that were already made and they were supposed to be in theaters. And yeah, they like dual released them. But aside from that, nothing really great came out of HBO Max the past 2 years.
No.
And that's a problem. Another problem is you were not competing globally. You were competing domestically.
Yeah, because you can't get HBO Max in most places. Right.
And I was saying this last night on the stream is that as a subscription-based service, this is basic addition here and laws of average. Right. So the more people that can subscribe to your service,
the more people you will have subscribed to your service
every single time. It never ceases to fail, because if you're limiting yourself to a domestic, like United States, North America kind of deal, then okay, that means out of however many billion people are in North America, okay, you have whatever 55 to 70 million of those people. But now if we're talking about the world, what is it, like 3-point-something billion people?
How many people live in the world? 7 billion, I think it is.
Out of 7 billion people in the world, that's what you want, right? Is you want to have the most people have access or the option to subscribe to your channel. Because the way I see it is everyone's going to have Netflix, everyone's going to have Disney. The third is that's the one that you want to be as HBO Max.
Mhm.
You want, because you don't want them to. I mean, there's people like me who will have every single one, right?
But we're not the norm.
Right, exactly. We're not the norm. So, you want that to be the third one. You don't want them to get Amazon Prime. You want them to get HBO Max. You don't want them to get Hulu. You want them to get HBO Max. You don't want them to get, whatever else, Peacock, whatever.
Peacock,
yeah. You want them to get HBO Max. But the thing is you were limiting yourself, and that caused a lot of issues and a lot of theft, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. Because I listened to a podcast, pretty popular. It's called The Weekly Planet. A bunch of Australian dudes, and they have to steal the stuff to be able to watch it.
And
it's not a slight against them because I'm stealing from you. I want to watch your content, but I can't.
Yeah, you haven't given me the opportunity to do the right thing. Therefore, you've left me no choice but to steal.
But to find it in a way that
maybe not be legal.
Yeah,
legal. And that's an issue. And let's face it, whether the Snyder Cut is your thing or not, it could be.
Well, and I sorry to cut you off, but I talked about this on Into the West last night. Warner Brothers, AT&T, it's probably more Warner Brothers' fault because AT&T is just the big, we own all of this thing.
Right.
They have done a horrible, horrible, horrible job at promoting the things that they have. Like I was talking about the Harley Quinn animated show on HBO Max. That show is a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's funny. I'd never heard of it until I was scrolling through HBO Max.
Right.
And somebody I was with just clicked on it. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Snyder Cut, but the Warner Brothers did themselves a disservice not pushing that, because it's like, oh, it didn't do the best numbers. Well, yeah, nobody knew it was coming out. Exactly. Except for the people who wanted it to come out. And so you have done a horrible, horrible job at promoting yourselves. And it's like, I'm sure there's probably people sitting at Warner Brothers who hear stuff like this and they're like, well, you could do better. I'm not saying I could do better. I'm saying you're in that position for a reason. You should do better. You should find a way to promote these things and get your content out there, because they're not without good stuff. It seems like they
have plenty of decent stories and things for people to stumble upon.
It's just everything they end up pushing ends up not being so great, and then they instead of just pushing the next thing like say Disney would, they retreat into themselves and are like, oh, we messed up. What do we need to do to fix it? No, you don't need to do anything to fix it. Just put the next thing out and keep making movies and shows. And your point about it not being everywhere is it's ridiculous that you can't get HBO Max. Well, I don't know what I'm a little ignorant. I don't know what it takes to get a worldwide streaming service. Maybe HBO Max doesn't have certain licensing.
They've had it before. HBO Go and HBO Now were worldwide.
Yeah.
It just depended on where you were. And that's okay if it was something like that. But the thing is they wanted to compete so badly with Disney, because if you look at the two, you have HBO Max and Disney both around the same time they drop, right? Disney's already at 100 million something subscribers.
Disney's almost caught up with Netflix at this point.
Right. And there is and listen, let's face it, Disney Plus does not have nearly the amount of content or original content that HBO Max has.
No way. I get on Disney Plus and I see the same stuff every time. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, it's all good stuff, but it's either nostalgic and you want to watch Aladdin, but they have that sense of if you get this service, you'll never be let down.
Exactly.
It will always be here for you, no matter what. And with HBO, it's been very very non-consistent with new releases. Yes, it has things like Game of Thrones. It has things like the Snyder Cut. It has things like all the other DC movies. But nothing. They kept announcing things. And here's the problem: is when on Twitter your fan base is saying that they want to boycott you, you have an issue.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You have an issue.
And another thing that Netflix has struggled with what I'm about to say. They were better. They kind of got better at it, and then the posting all 7, 8 episodes at once kind of has backfired on them.
Mhm.
But Disney, Amazon, and Hulu have done a fantastic job of making appointment television. I'm going to sit down and watch this at this time, whether it be when it comes out that night or when I get
Right.
off for the work the next day. I'm going to sit down and watch this on Disney Plus, whether it be with the Mandalorian or the whatever new Marvel show is out. And then with Amazon Prime, they have The Boys, they have Invincible, they have appointment television. Hulu has stuff like not necessarily in our wheelhouse. They have like the Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist thing, which I know a lot of people love, and I have actually enjoyed. It comes out every week. People are like, I need to watch this or whatever. But HBO Max, they had there was the Watchmen TV show, which was fantastic, but I don't think that was coming out when HBO Max was a thing. Well, and see,
no, you're right. You're right.
And it's like they need to make like, if they're going to do television shows, I don't even remember. They got to do appointment television. And what I mean by that is post it everywhere. This is going to be up at this time. It's going to be weekly at this time. Let people know what's going on, and people will gravitate towards it. It's just,
you know what? I'll give it to HBO, like things like Game of Thrones, things like Watchmen, things like Westworld. People were appointmenting, like people were sitting down at special times to watch these shows. They were good at that. They were good, but they're having a hard time finding the next Game of Thrones, the next Westworld. They're having their trouble finding it, and it's because they're not doing their due diligence. Look, you have a massive library of characters people want to see in the DC brand. Right? But then you got shitheads like Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, that they want these characters to go to film, yet in the time that these people, Toby or at least Walter Hamada, the time that they've been in charge, they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Everything that's come out, with the exception of maybe Shazam, Walter Hamada, it was all done before him, and he inherited it. The Joker, he screwed Warner Brothers on because he sold a bunch of the distribution rights, and then a $1 billion movie didn't actually make Warner Brothers $1 billion. Yeah, it's a $1 billion movie, but it didn't. Warner Brothers basically broke even on the movie.
Yeah.
So you have these things these decisions that these people are making. Walter Hamada thinks that HBO Max is it's a not as important as the theatrical release, right? And in a way, I understand what he means, but that doesn't mean that you can't take these characters like Nightwing or like a good Robin story, or even the Titan show, put a little bit more money into it. That Swamp Thing show was fire. I enjoyed it a lot.
I heard good things, and then they canceled.
So good.
Yeah.
You could do these relatively not household characters, and as long as you're building compelling stories, people are going to watch them, and they're going to become a household. Yeah, you don't have to do a Batman series on HBO Max, but that's the thing, is they were not allowing characters. They weren't allowing for the development of stories on HBO Max.
Yeah, and I think a perfect example as far as like IP and stuff that they have that they've absolutely fumbled the bag on is stuff like if you asked I might have talked about this guy with you guys before, but if you asked a random mom on the street, hey, do you know what the Guardians of the Galaxy is? She'd be like, yeah. If you asked a random mom, do you know what the Green Lanterns are? They'd probably be like, no. And that is ridiculous.
Considering
the
IP of them.
And how massive and long-running the Green Lantern is, and how people who read comic books know the Green Lanterns are a bigger thing than the Guardians of the Galaxy, but they're not anymore. In pop culture, the Guardians of the Galaxy are huge because Disney and Marvel marketed it properly, put it out there, and just put money into it and made it good. Whereas like HBO seems like they're waiting for the perfect conditions and the perfect writer and the perfect guy and the perfect this, and if everything doesn't align perfectly, they go in and take pieces out and do this and that, and they're like, well, okay, now let's put it out. And
that's
it's like,
the thing. I can tell you way more false promises than I can show. I have more false promises from Warner Brothers than I do when I go on HBO Max and look for content. Right, the content that you promised me, that isn't there, but I have all these false promises from shows that we were supposed to get, right? Or even films that we were supposed to get. Whether, like, dude, you guys need to take the tail out between your legs and make a Green Lantern series or film.
yeah,
Because the 2011 Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern wasn't great, but it's not a Hulk situation where you can never ever touch the property again. In a solo film or a solo series. It's repulsive to me that the Green Lantern has not showed up at the DCEU or on any other project ever.
Yeah. I don't get it. And
Yeah.
That's not my problem.
I think a real
I know, Zach. It's not your problem. It's Warner Brothers' problem.
yeah,
Speaking of Zack Snyder, Army of the Dead dropped today.
I don't think you want my opinion on that movie.
Well, I don't want your opinion on it before I watch it, of course.
Oh, okay. You haven't seen it.
I have not. Clearly, someone didn't like it as much as I will, but that's okay.
But you haven't seen it yet, though.
Yeah, but I have a preconditioned notion to like it already.
All right, well, fair enough. At least you're willing to admit that.
Yeah.
I was super excited for it. I don't think it was terrible. I think it was fine.
Okay. All right. But yeah, so I mean, this the whole business, this whole Warner Brothers. So I mean, Warner Media is basically going to be gone. I have a name that they're going to go with. It's HB Ovary.
HB Ovaries.
HB Ovary. HBO Discovery. HB Ovary.
Okay. I thought you were making a joke.
No, that's going to be the new name. It is. I mean, it's a joke, but that's going to be the new name of Discovery and HBO's new baby. It's HB Ovary. And that's where all our content's going to go from now on. But I mean, that's just me. Or what would you name it?
Disc HB Ovary?
Yeah, see, it's hard, right? It's hard. HBO Plus. Just combine the two. HBO Plus. I think you should. I don't know, because I think using HBO as the name for it, I was always kind of against it. I don't think, because you have so much there, I don't know if HBO should be what it's known for, but HBO is known for good content for the most part. So I know that's why Warner Media used it, but now with Discovery, are they going to let that go? Are they going to say, okay, you can call it HBO Max? So we might get a new app. This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, no, and I could see them trying to package it the way they package Hulu and Disney Plus a little bit. Like Hulu and Disney Plus are different, but they're kind of the same thing.
Exactly. But yeah, man, thanks for joining us today, as always.
Absolutely.
We're doing this show as like a partnership. So sorry that Austin wasn't here today, guys.
Nah.
But I couldn't thank you enough for joining. So where can people find Paul? I have it right here, but it just doesn't look. I even made it a Sirs.
Because Knights of I like that.
See, yours at the bottom. Sir Paul of the West Comics. I was going to be Sir Tyler of the Corner. Austin was Sir Austin of the Corner. See, I went all out with this. And
Austin went and ruined it. All right,
Austin went and ruined
his
it,
internet went and ruined it.
Look. What up, y'all? Just got my internet back right at the hour mark.
That sucks.
Classic.
Lord.
Well, don't come in here now, because we're wrapping it up. We don't want your kind here. But all right, so guys, next week, Nightwing by Tom Taylor, issue 78, 79, and 80. Have them read by Friday at 12. It's gonna be a good time, man. It's gonna be a good time.
Yep.
Here we go.
Go to your comic book store. They're like $4 each. Pay $12.
Drop a quick 12er.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure y'all got $12 to spare.
I do. But yeah, so let's know where they can find you on social media and on YouTube.
So Into the West Comics on YouTube. We actually have some like legit, like I just made these on like a press, but we have some legit shirts coming in soon that we're gonna sell and give away and stuff like that, and that'll be a lot of fun. That should be on the 1st of June. I think we'll get those. Also, we will be
Teespring. That's what I use. We have like a little store.
We'll talk after the show because we need information on where to put these things.
Okay. I got you.
So and we should have the podcast on all audio format also around June 1st. Like Into the West Comics, you'll be able to find us on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you can find your podcast. And for now, we're on YouTube at Into the West Comics, Instagram at Into the West Comics, Twitter at @into_comics, because Into the West Comics is too long for Twitter. And we're on TikTok at Into the West Comics. Donovan posts stuff there, and that's a lot of fun. So yeah, go check us out. Subscribe, helps us get to 200 subscribers, and subscribe to Pop Culture Corner if you're watching right now and you aren't already. What are you doing?
Yeah. And thank you to our members. You guys are the lifeblood. Adam, Billy, Caden, Carlos, Joe, Josh, Odd, Nick, Ruben K.S. Rivera. He makes me say the whole thing. Sean A, Xana A. You guys are amazing. And you guys are the reason that we keep doing this. But everyone is the reason we keep doing this. All of everybody that watches. You guys are all equally amazing. But the guys who pay us, they allow us to, StreamYard is for the HD. It's $50 a month. Our podcast host used to cost money. We just switched back to Anchor because we had trouble with Apple. But these things cost money, and we do it for you and we do it for the culture. That kind of stuff. We'll see you next Friday. Until then, tomorrow we have the podcast. Saturday podcast is back with featuring Big Drip and me. In studio podcast. That's me and him right in this room talking about the things we love. That'll start at 5:30 promptly, and then the rest of the weekend is off, and we'll be back on Monday. All right, guys. Paul, as always, you're the man.
Thanks. It's a blast being here all the time.
We should next week we're gonna next week we'll go for like an hour and a half, and we'll split it so that the first half is like the comic book talk, but then I have some more stuff that we can just shoot the stuff.
Shoot the stuff about, yeah.
Shoot the stuff.
I love shooting the stuff.
Yeah, I think we all love shooting the stuff. All right, guys, we will see you next time. And here's a little message from Chad Michael Collins.
Everyone, this is Chad Michael Collins, aka Echo 31. And on behalf of the Pop Culture Corner, I just want to say we do it for you, we do it for the culture.